Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the podcast. Here I am with a fucking awesome motherfucker, Alex, over at RandomTreeProductions.
Hey guys, it's awesome to be on the podcast, brah. Love this.
Dude, right, brah, right?
Yeah.
You know, like I've been scavenging my Skype and like, who's a fucking cool person that I could get on this podcast for this recording, you know, and I've done some pretty cool people thus far by the time of this recording, and I saw your name and I'm like, fucking, this guy commented on the podcast video and I'm like, oh, let's talk to this Alex guy. And what's funny is that we were talking just right before this recording, and you didn't listen to all of it, but that wasn't the big deal. Is that I actually did talk about your production, in which you didn't get to that part. So
Yeah.
I thought it was quite funny that I talked about you and you didn't even know it.
Yeah.
So
You know,
you're definitely gonna have to go back to the first podcast for me to talk about you.
for sure I will, man.
Because I talk about you for like 5 minutes. I talk about Revenge of the Spartans and all that. And I think we'll actually recap on that, because now that I actually have you here, I think I'm going to talk about a little bit of what I specified there a little bit with an earlier conversation I had with my buddy Pickleman, or Eric, and something that's really, really personal, and something that's really, it's really, you can look at it one way or the other, but it's actually a very personal subject for myself, but it's based off your production. And we'll go into that. But first, you're a fucking cool dude, and I'm so glad I met you recently, because, and this is just the magic of Union. This is the magic of Halo Union. This is the magic of why this site is so fucking awesome to a degree. Is you're meeting people that you never thought you'd be able to meet or talk to before, and I do that a lot. I normally, I'll see all machinima. I'll see a machinima I like, and I'll be like, wow, this is great, or oh, wow, this really has potential, and I'll fucking inbox them, and it'll be like, hey, let's talk on Skype, come talk to me. And most of the time they do, and I met Mimic and Matt that way, or I met Mimic that way for Binary Psyche, and I met countless others for that. I mean, that's how I started in this fucking community, was doing that. So what Union did was take that a step further, where it was kind of directly to the source, and I found productions through there and watching Revenge of the Spartans. And honestly, I can't quite remember if I was this was during the process of doing the Machinima Weekly, and then your video was up for that week, and then I'm like, oh wow, this is great. But I believe it came out kind of a while ago prior. So I don't think that was it. I think what happened is that you were just on Union, and somehow you got attached to your name because your name looked familiar, or whatever the reason was. Anyway, I eventually found Revenge of the Spartans and completely blown away. and not a lot of people know this story, but how I watched Revenge of the Spartans was probably the best way I could watch it. Was I've been on this kind of weird sleep schedule where I'd get home from school and I'd go to bed at like 6 p.m. and I'd wake up at like 1, and then I'd just stay up and then go to school and then rinse repeat. But I would have fucking amazing dreams doing this process, because I think when you get on a different sleep schedule, you seem to REM sleep more because you're so exhausted for whatever reason. But I woke up, and it was a little later than it normally was. I think I went back to bed. So anyway, I woke up at like 5:30, and my computer's on like this little desk little thing. It's like what they have at hospitals, like the table that goes over the thing you lay on, the bed. And I have one of those at the end of my bed, so I'll have my laptop there, and then I'll have my mouse, and I'm just fucking in the cupboards and or under my blankets, and I just start watching Revenge of the Spartans, and just the mood of it, and the pacing, and just how it's done. It was a perfect setting to watch it. Like people talk about, like I was watching this film documentary, and the guy who was hosting the documentary was actually the guy from the Matrix, Neo. I forget his name, unfortunately. His name escapes me. But anyway, he's hosting this documentary. And he's basically asking all these older directors, the preference or the preferred way to watch a movie. They're talking about how people can just stream it on their iPods now. Some think, that's not the way to watch a movie. It's with the people around you. It's an audience. And some think, oh no, I'm well happy with my 40-inch TV that's within my house. With myself. And honestly, I'm kind of like that. As much as I love a movie theater because it's a big fucking screen and the sound design is amazing, coming out of those speakers, and just that kind of feel that you get is amazing. But I love being alone and watching a movie. I can't really watch a movie with my parents. That's something I developed over time that just never worked out for me. But the point is, I just watched Revenge of the Spartans in the best way that I could. And it's a fucking amazing production. But I wanna talk about you for people who don't know you. And anyone that I do have on this podcast, the first podcast is definitely more of an introduction, not in like interview type style, because I practically already know the person that's on the podcast. But the point is just to give an idea of who I'm talking to for people who don't know, so they can go, oh wow, this guy sounds interesting, or I like this guy. Let me go check out his work. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing here. But Alex, you made a fucking amazing production. So I guess my question to you is, what made you start watching Halo Machinima? What made you start Halo Machinima, as in directing, writing, and all that for it? And just talk about Revenge of the Spartans a little bit, and kind of talk about that journey of Random Tree Productions, because you told me a little bit of that journey. Like, some people were a part of it, some people weren't, that kind of thing. So definitely tell me everything. Tell me your whole backstory.
Oh man, this is a long story, but I'll try to make it as short as I can. Well, back when I was in 6th grade, which is almost 3 years ago now, me, my friend Bloodwolf963, aka Bryce, and another former member of RandomTreeProductions, we literally just walked around our elementary school track, because where I live, we're still in elementary in 6th grade. We walked around the track, and at the time, it was we were really into YouTube and Red versus Blue. So we started talking about machinima ideas and YouTube ideas, because at the time it seemed like YouTube was starting to grow, and we wanted money so we can buy games, like gaming, PCs and a bunch of other things. But after the time went on, we finally started to come up with good ideas. One such idea was that it was more like a comedy machinima. I don't know why it was wrong with me, but basically in the storyline, the Spartans were just their own, well, it was supposed to be serious. It was their own squad and whatnot. And what they would do is, like, whenever somebody would die, they would say, or before they died, they'd say, well, I'm going to be with Michael Jackson soon. Goodbye, everybody. Because at the time, Michael Jackson just died. So what we would have done at the time, but we didn't know jack shit and jack stuff about how I'm going to keep this clean, sorry. They would fly up into heaven or in the skies and whatnot, and then out of the clouds you'd see Michael Jackson's face, and you hear the hee or whatever you hear Michael Jackson go, like, hey, it's a thriller. It was just dumb idea. Again, we were kids then. But over time, during that summer after school ended, we finally started to come up with a really, really rough concept.
I'm sorry to interrupt. How old were you, at this time?
I think we were all 12 at the time. I think.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty. Okay. Yeah. All right.
So that would explain a lot, because,
Yeah.
So, anyway, during that summer, we finally started to come up with really rough ideas for Revenge of the Spartans. And at the time, the series was called Last of the Spartans. And we started making early concepts of set designs, early concepts of the characters, early concepts of really everything. And the story is almost really the same. Well, the thing with Revenge of the Spartans now is, like, half of the story is going to take place in Halo Reach, which is kind of like past time, and then the other half will be in Halo 4, which is present time. And the thing that the early concept Last of the Spartans had was that it was pretty much it was completely nothing but Halo Reach. So what we found out was after Halo 4 came out, we thought, we have a lot of potential with this now, so we figured out how to kind of implement the story that we already had and mix that with what we could use with Halo 4. And after we did that, we saw, oh my god, this is awesome. This is just original. But I'm getting like I skipped a lot of it, so I'm gonna track back a little bit back to the early concepts of Last of the Spartans. So after that summer, we finally go into middle school, and we're in 7th grade. And during that time, we thought, we have to get more people on board. We have to get more people on the channel so we can like make let's plays to make people attracted to the channel in the first place. We have to get voice actors. We have to find more people to body act for us, people that we can trust instead of people that just screw around half the time, all that sort of stuff. So then we met one of my closest friends now, Hitman Sam 412, and Angloid Dude. And both of their names is Joey and Angus, if you wanted to know. But yeah, we recorded with a cheap Lenovo PC, and we used the original Hotbog HD PVR. And then from there, we would import the footage onto a really bottom-of-the-line MacBook, white one, the last one ever produced. And from there, we would edit it with freaking iMovie, and then we would upload it to YouTube through there. But the problem was because the PC wouldn't like crash at the time, and it recorded really bad. Like, we couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. We didn't know if it was a software error, what was the problem with it. So after that, we decided, you know what, we'll wait a little bit. We'll save up whatever money we can get from YouTube to get a better computer, better software, etc. So that same year, in May of that same year, we recorded our very first video, which was about Herobrine on, if you don't know who Herobrine is, it's kind of a creepypasta on Minecraft. We recorded, you guys can go research it on Google if you want to. After we started having encounters with Herobrine on the Xbox 360 edition since it just came out. So we thought, oh my god, we have to record this, get this on YouTube right now. Not later, not today, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. So we did that. And we uploaded it. And this is our very first video ever. Just keep that in mind. And within 4 days, it got 4,000 views, which was insane for us. It was crazy. So then the months went on through that summer, and we started introducing the other shows that we had in mind, which was a comedy sort of machinima show called The Hitman Sam Show, where he pretty much talks about whatever's on his mind or whatever he wants to talk about, if you can call it that. And we would continue our Let's Plays and all that kind of stuff. After that, we saw some newer stuff about Halo 4. I think it was that year. Yeah, it was that year, that summer. Halo 4 finally had things like Forge and all these other things finally being announced, and that's when we decided to finally merge Last of the Spartans with Halo 4 and kind of intertwine them somehow. Now that year the beginning of that year was kind of rough because one of the founding members of RTP left because of drama that we had between me and him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But it's alright. I think me and him are probably going to get back together if I can. Not in a gay way. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Nah, I think it's definitely that way. You guys are going to meet behind the bar and be like, dude, I'm so sorry. Yeah, bro, I'm so sorry. And then just like, have you ever tasted another man's lips? Just start going at it like little sluts. Is that what you're going to do, Alex? Is that what you're doing?
In your fantasy, sure. But anyway.
I ain't got no fantasies. What are you talking about?
But anyways. I hope to fix things between me and him after it's been like 2 years now. So I think by now things will have died down. But anyways, after he left, we thought, crap, we have to get these maps and other things from him since he was the lead set designer at the time. So before he left, he gave that to us, and then from there we actually started to replicate the same maps onto Halo 4 because another idea we had was to just completely scrap Halo Reach and make everything in Halo 4, but luckily we didn't. We kept with the idea to have everything merge together. That year, which is last year still, we got some other people to join in our RTP since everybody was really, really busy at the time to do other Let's Plays and stuff. His gamer tag and another guy, both of these guys' gamer tags was True to Pinoy. I'm sorry, Giovanni, for saying that. I always get that mixed up. And another guy who's also named Alex, his gamer tag was Meeper. And me and those two guys would do Let's Play as well because everybody was so busy with like schoolwork and all that.
Yeah.
The bad part was Giovanni got we and him had some encounters, I guess, and he broke off and he started his own channel, which is what was it called? I know what it's called. I'm having a brain fart right now. It was Pinoy Gamers HT. Yeah.
There you go.
Pinoy Gamers HT. It's a good channel. I recommend all of you guys go look at it if you like Minecraft and other stuff on there. But continuing on with the story, after they left, both of them kind of left, we thought, you know what, it's been like 2 years since we came up with this idea for the machinima. If we're going to continue this, we have to do it now, or else everybody else was like, we're giving up. I don't care what you think, Alex. We have to give up on this by now. So, luckily, that summer, we finally got the first teaser trailer out for the series. And it managed to get, I think, around 2,000 or so views now, which is crazy also. And then, beginning of that year, well, later on this year, I guess, if that makes sense, I found a website called Machinima Union, which sounded really appealing because I thought, wow, I can finally get episode 1 promoted a little more because since we previously had a lot of fans with Minecraft, none of them wanted to watch our machinimas, which just angered us a lot. It still angers us because that's the only reason we really have subscribers anymore. Regardless of now, we have a lot of Halo fans now, thanks to Union and other people. So
yeah, Union was very good on that, especially with you. Yeah.
So continuing on from that, after I found Union, I decided to put Revenge of the Spartans on there, episode 1, and see if that would get anything. The next day, I get a message from one of the admins, which was Mr. TheZeddUnderstanding, and he told me to Skype him sometime, and I did. And then from there, he helped me out, gave me some advice. I'm guessing you shared it around a lot of people because it freaking got like 4 times the views that it previously had, and I think it quadrupled its view time in a month compared to the 2 months it was up. And
I wouldn't say it was all me, but I definitely shared it around with some people that would probably definitely share it around. So I think I'm gonna have to say 50-50. I think I found it and sent it to some peeps, and then some peeps that I don't know on Union saw it and oh my god, this is good, and then share it around. So maybe a 50-50 sort of thing. But the point is that I'm so glad for its success.
Exactly.
As of right now.
I love Union for that, and honestly, I love you, man. I love you.
I love you, man.
And then
so what is that the end of the story? So you get all these views, and now you're working on episode 2, and you're what 30% through it, 40
through the series.
Episode 2.
Oh, episode 2. Well, I'll say
30,
right now,
40. Come on.
Right
what do you
now,
got?
we have all the footage. We have
as
all
of
the
this
voices.
As of this recording.
Well, as of this recording, I think I would say we have pretty much everything needed to make episode 2. But it's just I gotta take all the time this week to try to get it up as soon as I can. But I would say it's around 75% done.
Yeah.
All the footage
so
sorry.
Yeah. I was just gonna say by the time this gets put up, I think this will be put up right around the time episode 2 comes out. So at this point, I hope that episode 2 is getting success at that point.
Yeah.
But let's I had some questions in mind when you were speaking, and you something that I always thought is this something that's a key to every Halo machinima is that feeling of collaboration. I can never say that fucking word right. Can you say it? Say it for me.
Collaboration.
See, even you fucked up.
No.
Collaboration.
Collaboration. How
You can
now,
say it
brown
fast.
cow?
You can
How
say
now,
it
brown cow?
fast.
How now,
It's
brown
just
cow? Collaboration.
when among friends, like, you know, like some friends that you knew for, you know, a year or two that you had this interest and they got interested in this interest because of you or whatever. You met them through this interest, whatever it was, and that right there is a spark. Something like that happens, and those types of machinimas that we see are a lot of them. We see a lot of, you know, Halo 3 productions like that. I think of Bone, you know, like Jesse and KG just doing their thing. I think of yourself, and it's really having those friends that have that interest with you, and then just kind of like scheming about it and talking about like, oh, what if we have this and that, and that feeling that somehow that gets across in some machinimas, and in some other machinimas that doesn't, and it's really weird how that is. It's really weird how you can have that weird feeling in that machinima that something happened. You know, friends made this. You know, some productions are very singular. A lot of dramas I feel are like that. But like when it comes to like action adventures and stuff like that, those are pretty heavily collaborated. And not just, and I'm not saying this is purely friends or people that know each other within real life, not the internet. There's definitely so many more collaborations with so many more productions. Like if we're not talking internet wise, I'd be alone on D-Pair. But if we're talking about like internet wise through this community, you know, I think John Hazard has always been additional ideas and content for Delinquent Pair, and I've always had a clear line of like what I want, and it's just kind of like coming up with like little things along the way that it's more like a talking my ideas out to someone, and getting some like little feedback, or it can be even just bullshit feedback, just joking, but something clicks. And I talk about this with Matt a lot, and Matt will eventually have on the podcast. But Matt or Starfall Studios, I talk about, I think I talk about this with you, and Mimic, is like my family always, like everyone in my family has like their space of thinking, space of figuring something out.
Yeah.
Mine is, for whatever reason, mine has always been the shower. Like I always fucking figure out everything in the shower. Most of the times, it's actually me hopping into the shower, and it's like a split second. Oh fuck! I should do that idea. That is genius. Like, and that has always been for me. Do you have like a spot like that? Do you like somewhere you just instantly just come up with ideas? Just your creative area. I don't know what it is. Something about
me, it was like, well, at the time, it's like evolved over the past couple of years. Like, whenever I'm like walking around, like when RTP first started, back when I was in 6th grade, walking around at the track with a Blood Wolf 963, that was a really big idea where we came up with ideas. Another place, which is where I currently come up with most of my ideas, is just sitting on my chair at my desk where I'm talking to you right now. That's where I come up with most of my ideas for stuff.
Yeah, and it's just like everyone has their area. I don't know what it is. Like, and it's also like I think it's the same kind of vibe you get when you get into like a writer's zone. Like you're just hitting the writing, you know, the way you want it. You know, you're just it's that weird zone you get into, and it really helps out. But going back to what we were speaking of, I think Rise of Spartans has that element. It has that drama-like element that it was done by you.
Sorry to correct you. It was Revenge of the Spartans, not Rise of the Spartans.
Did I say Rise?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know. See, here's the thing. Here's the thing why you fuck me up, is that your abbreviation is ROTS.
I know.
And I keep telling you to abbreviate it as RS, just so people know what you're talking about.
I know. I hate that about the series. Like
oh my god, because fucking, I don't know who said it. I think it was fucking Matt or fucking John Hazard. One of them fucking texts me and he's like, something about rots, and I'm like, Rise of Spartans? And he's like, no, Revenge. And I'm like, you fucker, call it RS, because no one's gonna know what you're talking about. Call it RS, okay? It's not the full abbreviation, but it's removing the bullshit, which is of the, so Revenge Spartans, that's the key words and element. Fuck you. Anyway, I forgot what I was on anyway. I forget the topic I was on. What was I talking about? Do you remember what I was talking about?
I think we were talking about.
Oh, okay, I got it. Anyway, so Revenge of Spartans, it's this, how it's done is it feels like an action adventure, but the way it's shot, it's really much a drama, and that's something that really clicked with me. Something that was really interesting. Like, you have a lot of panning shots, very slow. That's what I was talking about when I said mood and like pacing.
Yeah.
Mostly pacing. And that's what I meant was the like, especially the first episode with them being in space. It's this abandonment feeling the camera gives, a very slow panning. Or it kind of aggressively moves forward, and to show anxiety of that he doesn't understand the environment around him, because he doesn't know where the fuck he's at, or he does, but and it's those kinds of elements. But the point I'm trying to make here is that it feels like some friends came together to make this production, but it also feels, on the contrary, it also feels like it's all you. And I think it is a mix of both elements. It's a mix of an action adventure with a bunch of friends, and it's a mix of a heavy drama with ideas of yourself. And I think you are a heavy force of the production. I honestly think that you're about as heavily into the production as you could possibly be. I think your friends and whatnot, not to discount them, but I think they're more of like ideas and content, or additional ideas and content. But I think what drives it is yourself and your way of cinematography, your way of directing, what you want on screen.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. It's a fucking brilliant production, because I think I talked about this. I forget when I talk about this, because I talk about this all the fucking time, because I say the fucking same things all the time.
Yeah.
And one of the things I always say is my opinion of special effects, mostly lens flares, is that a lens flare changes in every single goddamn shot, right? That means that your eyes are hovering over to that new lens flare, that new shit that's on your screen, and then you look back to the main character, you go back to what's happening, and it's like a split-second thing, or it could be longer. It doesn't matter. The point is that it's moving you away from something that's on screen. But if you have something like color grading establishes that that's what the environment looks like in that given scene, or in that given shot, or whatever it may be. So, and it's all on screen, and it doesn't change in every single shot. And I've always felt that way. But when I watched Revenge of the Spartans, just the way that it was done, the way that it moved, and just moved me, just the way of me watching it, it just worked. Just the type of atmosphere with the lens flares and whatnot, it just worked. It just went together so beautifully. And I'm going to be using Revenge of Spartans when it comes to this type of visual design, or visual effects, for fucking years to come. I'm going to be talking about how Revenge of Spartans, specifically episode 1 anyway, did it right. I think it's one of the greatest representations of how to do it correctly. Now, it's troubling me saying that, because honestly, I don't know if I could pull it off. I don't think I'd want to pull it off, because I think, just my opinion of lens flares, and my opinion of some visual design that gets put into some machinima, it's great to have different things on screen to make it different. But the point is that when you have something within your Halo Machinima production that is radically different, the viewer's eyes and attention is going to be more specific on that thing. But if you use what's in front of you and the basic things, it's going to feel more immersive. So it's kind of like it's like Halo Machinima itself is, the story and whatnot can be totally different than any other single Halo Machinima production, but they're all Halo Machinima.
Yeah.
All same armor, all guns, but you don't look at it that way. You look at it as a Halo Machinima production, but it's this one. It's this story. It's these characters. Like when I see an ODST helmet, it's like, oh, that's the guy from Gears of Halo Theft Auto 5. That's the guy from Why We Kill. That's the guy from the Hawk Legacy. It doesn't matter. And when you have elements that are within game, it's what you do with those elements that are in game that what drives the story.
Yeah.
Something that just a thought in my mind was the Corporation. The Corporation has this shot, and it's fucking genius. And I figured out later how he did it, but it was one of those things where it's one of the things I had, which I haven't had this in a fucking while. It's this shot, and have you seen The Corporation?
It's been a long time. I'm not sure if I have or not.
It's episode 1, and we meet this character, and he's driving a Porsche, quotations, but there's actually the inside joke that it's a Warthog. But anyway, he drives the Warthog away, and he hits a fucking wall, and he just explodes. It wasn't a cut. It wasn't anything. It was all done in one fucking shot. I don't know how the fuck he did it. I figured out later that he just gunned it, and the original shot was actually, there was specifically a explosive there. I think it was a landmine. Yeah, it was a landmine. And he spawned it there because he knew the character was going to drive and hit the landmine. But what happened was, it's just one of those things where you're fucking around, right? And and the landmine wasn't even there. He was just hoping it was going to spawn. He fucking drove, and right when he hit the wall, the landmine comes back of a respawn, and it blows him up. It's a brilliant shot. I don't know how the fuck he did it. So it's taking those elements that are already within game to create a new. That's why I think that if you're gonna use CGI in your machinima, fine, but I think you should just go full CGI. If you're gonna do that type of shit, why don't you look into modding? Because here's what modding does: is I've been looking into modding really heavily, and
I have two lately for future episodes.
Yeah,
honest.
and what it is, and what I love about it is that it's using the assets from the game, the science or the understanding of the game that you've already created in your head, right? But it's using that in a completely different way. Like when you see, like for example, the mods that are already coming out, that aren't for a modded console. The mods that are coming out by showing or showed from Mike WB, popularized by Mike WB, like the fucking Warthogs. Like they're in game. They feel like they're a part of that environment. They're a little bit out of place, but your attention is still on what's happening. I think the knife, the knife on the shoulder is a bit of a different story. I think we're gonna have to get a little more used to that. But when it comes to Warthogs, I think it's totally the thing. And I've been looking up a lot of modding stuff, and you can get scarabs within Forge World. You can make Forge World nothing but water, and there's some fucking cool shit that they're doing over there. And I do hope that people in the future, and I'm definitely looking into this, and if anyone out there listening to this, please look this up, please check it out. Just note that if you fucking beat me to it for this one thing that I want to create, I'm gonna fucking kick your ass. I'm kidding. But modding capabilities are just amazing, because you're taking the assets that are already within the game, that are already well known, but using it in a different way where it's like, wow, how did he get that scarab on Forge World? But it's still the scarab. It's still known. It's still, the texture. Where to jump on it. How it can hit you. You understand the geometry. You understand how that subject moves. But when you see CGI in a Halo Machinima, it's a completely new thing, and it might be beautiful to look at, but it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And with modding it makes it feel right. But with Revenge of the Spartans is, even if that might be implemented later, I just love what Revenge of the Spartans does, because it takes the elements of visual, just takes visuals, but does them so perfectly. I think it's the most perfect visuals, because it doesn't make you feel claustrophobic. It doesn't make you feel, and sometimes you want to create those environments, but you have this, like I said, it's fucking incredible. Like I've always described, there's three kinds of machinimas. There's drama, action, adventure, and comedy. Horror is so under there that it can be categorized as an action adventure or a drama with horror elements. That's how I think everything is categorized. It's one of those three categories, but it's what makes the production of that three categories and of that three cinematographies that makes that production. But what you have is that you completely destroyed my system. You completely destroyed my way of diagramming how Halo Machinima is made and developed, and why certain machinimas work against others. You fucked up the whole system, because your fucking production is right in the fucking middle between drama and action adventure. It's not like a singularity where it's action adventure with drama elements, or it's a drama with action adventure elements. It's fucking both. That's what pisses me off. It's like in the middle. Like, here's the new diagram. Drama. No, here's the new diagram. Comedy, action adventure, Revenge of the Spartans, drama. Like, you fucking destroyed the whole diagram in which I've based all of my analysis and shit on. I'm so mad, but it's just Revenge of the Spartans really does things well, and I think, and I had a conversation with my buddy Eric, or Pickleman, recently, and I want to get your perspective on it, and it's a really sensitive topic, and
All
I
right.
don't want you to, I don't think you're gonna get offended, but I hope you don't get offended by my answer. I hope you understand my answer and can respect it, even though you disagree with it, or you might agree with it. I don't know, but I have this opinion on Revenge of the Spartans and where I personally want it to go, or like what I think it's gonna do for the community and whatnot, where it's gonna go. And
Okay.
my friend Eric, or Pickleman, thinks a little differently. And I can't really state his opinion to the fullest, but I'm gonna state my opinion and then kind of use him as the opposition. But I'm mostly gonna explain mine. I want to get your opinion on this. I'm
Okay.
gonna try to do it as fast as I can, because I've been talking way more than you have.
It's
So
fine.
so here's the thing. So Revenge of the Spartans. So I'm just gonna call him Eric. So Eric says, basically, that he thinks that Revenge of the Spartans has the undeniable potential to be part of the Spartans series.
See.
Forgotten Rise. They're not like later Rise of Spartans acknowledged Forgotten and implemented those to connect them later.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make is that it's the Spartan series. I personally don't think Dawn of the Titans is in there. That's just my own personal perspective. I think it's close, but no cigar. But the point is that he thinks Revenge of the Spartans has the potential to become the next evolution of the Spartans series.
Okay.
Now, here's where I completely differ, and this is a very selfish perspective. I have seen, and I had this conversation with Ryan on the first podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and what I talk about is how some of the most amazing Halo Machinima productions are the ones that aren't very popularized. It's the same thing as like the movie industry,
Yeah.
film industry. It's like that. And some of the most amazing Halo Machinima productions, I think, are not severely or extremely viewed, but are respected among a couple directors, and then kind of share them out. I think Forecast is a good example of like an underground. I think Blackstone. Never mind. Fuck that. I think Cover Up by Broadcast Machinima is becoming that once that is finished. I think all his work is going to become very underground. I think
Yeah.
Deus Novus is a bit underground. So think about that. I think the best Halo Machinimas are the ones that don't have the extreme amount of views, because they're not the blockbuster. They are the indie film, but they're just so much better, right?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So So I personally do not want Revenge of the Spartans, and I honestly don't think Revenge of the Spartans will become the next in the Spartans series is. I think it's going to be its own thing. I think it's going to be its own anomaly. I think it's going to be respected among directors, but I don't think it will ever become that popular. And I don't actually want it to become that popular because I think the respect among directors and avid viewers is what makes an underground production. There's a part of me that doesn't want Revenge of the Spartans becoming like Forgotten Rise with those massive amount of views and becoming the blockbuster. I want it to stay in this kind of underground type territory. I want it to see as much success as it can get, but there's a part of me, or there's a very strong part of me that wants it kind of like under 5,000 views and finished, but looked back at later as, you know, as a very underground machinima and be able to analyze it and theorize about it, but not like fucking hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views and fanboys. I don't want it to become the next of the series is. But here's the thing. Here's Eric's, going back to Eric's argument, and I'm going to swing it around, and I'm going to get your perspective. What Eric says, and I think this is really genius. I think this is really smart. What he says is that he actually goes off of my theory that we're going into more drama and comedy productions. He has this great opinion, which is he thinks that Revenge of the Spartans is going to pay the way for more drama-oriented productions, better writing, just better a lot of things. Getting those more underground type productions into the spotlight of a blockbuster, but keeping their good.
Yeah.
Kind of like the movie Drive by Ryan Gosling. Everyone talks about it. It's fucking awesome. But it's not a blockbuster. It's kind of this weird underground thing, but it's so respected, and everyone thinks it's an amazing film. And I think that's really interesting. I think that's really interesting that he says that, and I honestly would like to think that. I would like to think that you are going to pave the way for blockbusters to be more like dramas or underground machinimas. But the reason why I'm very distant towards it is that I think that blockbuster productions have always been more pure. You know, I was talking about like visuals earlier. They're a lot more pure, and they just give a representation to the community in which I think is overlooked sometimes. But the blockbusters are the ones that kind of get more visual effects on it. But we're seeing that more with blockbusters. You know, we're seeing CGI and all that. So with my final opinion, I do not want Revenge of the Spartans becoming the blockbuster. I want it to keep it underground. I want it to be respected among directors, but I don't want it to have like over 5,000 views. I want to selfishly kind of keep it a little low. I want to kind of keep it to myself, and I want to talk about it as if I would talk about like Why We Kill or Dispatch Films' work, Prophecy. There's this selfish part of me that wants to kind of keep it out of the spotlight. And as much as I wanted to see success and admiration and respect among peers, I don't want it to become a blockbuster. I know this is some really, and that's what I'm going to end with, and that's some really fucking heavy shit. So I'm so sorry, and I know you're going to fucking have to fucking analyze all that shit that I just told you, but that's my opinion, and I want to get your perspective on what I just told you.
Well, that is kind of a hard note. For me,
I fucking got this shit depressed up in here. Damn.
No, it's fine, but
yeah.
This is before I go off, this is kind of how I see the whole Halo machinima and kind of the YouTube community in general. It's kind of like the old sort of 90s underground hip-hop scene, kind of. Weird to say, but it's kind of that way, in my opinion.
Okay, alright, I see where you're going. Alright.
The thing is, like, you go back to the 80s, right? And you see, like, these rappers that are not really, like, what you would call a rapper, like, say, like someone like say Tupac or NWA, who were all the gangster mentality. Back then they were all
Biggie.
yeah. Back then they were freaking like wearing all these weird, almost
Straight out Compton. I'm straight
homo
out
kind of
Compton,
stripes.
Alex.
Straight Outta
If you
Compton was an amazing album. But regardless,
very
before you see like people like NWA, Straight Outta Compton, you see these really weird sort of things. And as time progressed, you saw better productions. In this case, it would be machinimas, but you'd see better productions like NWA, which kind of revolutionized hip hop and bringing like the
but
whole.
may I chime in here? But many of those members left to do their own projects. So is that pushing Revenge of the Spartans in a direction of unfinished?
I wouldn't say that. It's like I'm the only like I'm the only editor for Revenge of the Spartans. I'm the director. I'm one of the writers. I'm not the only writer. But I wouldn't say we'd be going down that path at all right now. At the pace we're
Mm-hmm.
going right now, no. If anything, it's just my fault for like procrastinating.
Yeah.
The other thing is like I'm a perfectionist, as in like I don't want to release something like Revenge of the Spartans until it's like completely perfect, like spot on to
Yeah.
the fullest potential it can be.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason it's like taking freaking episode 2 to 3 months to come out now. But
Yeah, I'm
we're
pretty
getting
crazy when it comes to that. Uh for me it's fucking 6 months, you know. My fucking head is turned a little bit slightly a little more to the left. I'll fucking rebody act it. People think I'm crazy. I think you're the same way. Maybe not to the fullest extent of I am, but very damn close.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Um
continuing on to the topic of how the machinima community is kind of like the underground hip hop scene. You'd see people like say NWA, people like Slick Rick, really old rapper. You might want to look him up. He's really good actually. People like NWA, Snoop Doggy Dogg, Tupac, and all these guys. They were really good, but the thing was they were signed with like major labels and things, and they're still considered really good to this day. And then you have people like say, you kind of brought this up and when we first met also, like you have people like Eminem who grew up in underground hip hop, just working their way up, trying to just more or less struggling, trying to get up. That's kind of how I see channels like that are just smaller in general. Like I consider R2P a small channel myself. I don't think it's big. I don't consider something like, well, in this case, I wouldn't consider it something as big as Tupac. I would consider it something more like underground Eminem back in like '96 or something. I don't know,
mhm.
but I'm just saying like the same thing as underground hip hop is kind of the same thing with like these smaller channels and whatnot. Now back to what I think Revenge of the Spartans should be. I agree with you that it shouldn't lose that underground sort of feel to it. I never intended for it to be that way. I kind of I more or less wanted to be like a mix between you and what you said Eric said. I wanted to be like a mix. The hard part is like being able to keep that, like being able
Yeah.
to stay true to what it originally was, which in this case would be the underground field of it,
Yeah.
and then with the growing part of it, which would be the blockbuster part of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because like Eric's point is that Revenge of the Spartans would pave the way, and I think I'm saying pave the way in my own terms, but like Revenge of the Spartans would would push more productions like Revenge of the Spartans into the more blockbuster spotlight. But the thing about Revenge of the Spartans is that it's really visually warped, and I feel like as blockbusters get more visually um, appealing and harder to do, that yeah, they go into the spotlight. But I always like talk about this. Like you look at early like Halo 3 days, Machinima, and look at what they were using, the technology that we had then, and compared to the technology that we have now. The funny thing is that you look at that and so much has changed over the past years,
yeah,
and I honestly don't want um crazy visually um changed through post-production, machinimas being the blockbuster spotlight, because I feel like that is discriminating a little bit against, like, other machinima directors, but, them thinking, oh, I need special effect, oh, I need these kinds of visuals, and I don't want that to be a leading example. And that's like, it's a really hard topic, because, like, while I'm saying it, like, I'm starting to disagree with myself. I'm starting to play, like, devil's advocate. I'm starting going, like, well, like, really? Like, you could still make a good thing, and they have these elements. Doesn't mean that you can't make something good. It's just, I don't think blockbusters should set. I think blockbusters should set an example, and I honestly think one of the reasons why ROTS is so so successful is that it takes the elements of a machinima that is very core, very like unwarped visually, a very pure machinima, but maximizes that to the highest it can go. And that's one of the reasons why ROTS is so loved, is because it's it's not really changed a bit. It's all done within engine. Maybe a little slight color grading here or there, but I'm totally cool with that. I love color grading. I think it's the best thing that you can do for Halo Machinima production.
Color grading, sorry.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why people like it so much, is because you take the purest form and then you maximize it. But I think if a production like Revenge of the Spartans gets in the spotlight, I think directors coming in are going to see that and think they're going to need that. But I think the reason why ROTS sets an example is because of that purity. And that's why you see kind of more underground machinima, either very pure like that, but very good, or the exact opposite, where it's very visually appealing. Story's still great. I'm not saying like story isn't there and whatnot. It's there. It's here. It's queer. It's here to stay. And and we don't know much about it, but what we have seen, it seems like a great story that we want to learn about. It's just with the visual appeals, I don't want visuals affecting newcomers coming in with the Halo Machinima community.
Yeah.
And it's a really fucking hard topic. It's really sensitive. And like, can you stop a blockbuster from happening? You can't. Can you stop or do you think you can? Like what does that mean? Does that mean like I don't share it? Like I'm gonna share it among directors. And if they
I do that too, but...
and if they share it among other peeps, then that's what's gonna happen. Should I really be the fucking one to stop it from being successful? Fuck no. But I definitely do have this selfish tendency with Revenge of the Spartans. Something I've never felt before. Something that I've never had before is that want for it to become still play like a little more underground. It's kind of like if you really like a musician, and then like they get like really famous, and it's like, dude, bro, I fucking listened to him when his fucking first album came out. Listen to all his fucking albums, bro. I fucking listened to his shit when he only had one fucking single out. I'm fucking fan, bro. You don't even know. It's like that, and it's really weird. It's a hard topic. It's very strange and difficult topic to talk about. But to kind of to end off the revenge discussion, it's a fucking sensitive topic, and I think revenge is great, and I think I want to see it have success, and I want to see it. I think with me personally, with Deep Hair, it didn't matter to me if it got like a whole bunch of views. What mattered to me is if it had respect among directors.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that was so important to me. Because I got out, because I got to a point where I was hanging out with all these machinima directors, but I didn't have a machinima production out yet, so it's kind of like, man, who the fuck is this kid saying he doesn't like this fucking camera angle, but he loves everything else, but he says this fucking camera angle sucks. I fucking love this camera angle, and I'll only talk about a Halo machinima I like talking about one that I dislike more than another one, or really don't like, which is I have like maybe like one or two, but The point is, like, there's just no point talking about it. I'd only want to talk about the goods and then, like, point out, like, very heavy negatives, because honestly, like, who the fuck am I to tell you what to do? And honestly, I know my life and how my life has always worked out is I have figured out the path, and I figured out a better path, and it's like, oh shit, all right, I figured it out now. I'm gonna go through this path, but no one had to fucking tell me to go to that another path. I found it myself.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of like that with Halo Machinima. I always give like very, I guess, sketchy machinima starting out. You know, could use a little something in this area. You know, but I just give it just positive energy, because I know that the director is going to figure it out. If I fucking figured it out, if everyone else fucking figures it out, look at the Bone guys. Look at what Jesse... I've been talking about Jesse a lot lately. Look at what Jesse and KG have been doing. Look at the original Bone, and then look at where they're at now. It's fucking incredible. Look at where Arbor617 was, and then look where he is now. Look what Dark Null was, and look what they are now. Or where Forgotten Spartans at its highest point.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
The point is that you'll figure it out. So like, and the reason why I'm talking about Revenge of Spartans the way I am is because I'm so passionate about it. Is because I like it so much, and that's the only reason why this discussion would ever fucking come up. And there's some fucking great machinimas out there that are not being seen by people. And I watch a fucking lot of Halo Machinima, and you know, some make it, some don't, but I think respect among directors is just one of the most important things. But just going back, you know, but ending what I was saying is just Deep Hair. It was not how many views it gets. It was, you know, where I was, where they were kind of like, fuck this guy. But then Deep Hair came out, and people were like, holy fuck, I think this guy could actually make a Halo Machinima. You know, so their confidence kind of, you know, or I'd like to think that their confidence raised a bit, or from my personal observation of what happened, they're like, yeah, I really like Deep Hair, like this, and that. It's like, yeah, and it gave me gratitude. I'm like, I'm so glad that you like this, you know, and I'm, you know, improving every day, and, you know, I want to hear what people like about Deep Hair. I don't want to hear what people don't like about Deep Hair, because by the time they tell me, I'm probably already looking at it going, oh, I've already improved that, you know, and and I like to think, that's how I think, and I like to think that's how other people think as well, is, you know, someone telling them, I don't really like this element, you might want to tweak it a little bit, or that's just my personal perspective, or make this better. And you know, like when I say make this better, they know how to make it better. I don't have to tell them how to make it better. They understand it. I think Halo Machinima directors are just some of the smartest people I've ever met, you know, and including yourself. You know, you know, some cool fucking people in this community. So just kind of to end off with a quick topic, I wanted to ask you your personal opinion on the current state of this community. I make an argument that we've been at like a plateau for a while, but I think we're getting a lot better. And like you see with like Halo 3 Days Machinima, where they didn't like really talk to one another, and then you see something like Phil like do like a matchmaking reference, because I don't think they ever like really talked to one another.
Yeah.
But now like we're so connected to one another. I think that's why all this drama happens, is that we talk to everyone now. That we're all connected, and it's like a good, bad, and the ugly. You know, it fucking sucks. It's a good thing. It's a bad thing. Same thing with social media. You know, it's a cool fucking thing. Internet is a fucking cool thing, but it took away these elements, but it gave positive to these elements. So my question to you is like, what's your opinion on now, and how can we improve it?
Well, that's kind of a hard thing. I remember that having another brain fart. What's his name from the last podcast said that it was the community was corrupt.
Ryan. Ryan. He makes a
yeah.
corporation. The first podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's corrupt. I would say that it's gotten better. It's getting better. Like you said, I think the community's getting better, and I think it will continue to get better if we just like, if all the directors and all the people that love machinima just sort of more or less come together in like a weird peace and harmony and kind of like just enjoy each other's work.
Yeah.
Learn from one machinima to another and see if we can learn off each other and make really good machinimas, because we all just love it. And I think because of now of what we have now and how everyone's so connected compared to like the old Halo 3 days, I think everything's just going to keep on getting better. I don't think it's corrupt. The only thing that are corrupt, if anything, are freaking YouTube networks and stuff. My advice, don't join YouTube networks. Stay independent. Stay underground. Do whatever you can for that.
Shit.
Exactly. Screw that. Fuck that.
You know, fuck machinima.com. Fuck TGN. I don't even know TGN. Just fuck everyone.
Pretty
the
much.
only person you should be talking to is Union and possibly Revive. Revive's a cool people, but I haven't seen Revive really do much of anything.
Yeah, but real quick, my advice to anybody who wants to make good machinimas is stay independent. Do what you think is good for the story. Do what you think is good for the series, or whatever your production is. Do what you think personally is good. Don't listen to what a bunch of other people think, because they'll eventually fall in love with what you want to do, and they'll respect that.
Yeah.
Just do what you want to do. Don't join these stupid networks. I hate the networks so much. and what's another note? Real quick thing on the special effects. Don't use special effects just to make it look cool. Use special effects to your story's advantage. Use it to like help the story be told better. Don't use it to just
color grading.
Yeah, you can use color grading pretty much anywhere. Just don't overuse it.
Oh yeah.
Just don't use it just to make it look cool. Just use it to just like tell the story better. Like, it's hard to explain.
Absolutely. I
think that's my advice.
Alex, I think that was spot on. I think that was just, I was thinking to myself, like, boom, you got it. You just fucking summarized in like 8 sentences. It was boom, right there. I think that's what it really is. If I had anything quickly to say on it, it's, think of it this way. Is if we were all to, and I've said this to many people, but if anyone out there is listening and haven't heard this, so, this is your treat or whatever, this is just my thing. If we were all to just stop, all of us, because you hear like, I'm leaving the machinima community, I'm done now, I'm going over here, or they come back, or someone leaves, or actually, just whatever. If we were all to just stop, this community would cease to exist, cease to function.
Mm-hmm.
We are like, there would be machinima directors coming out, right? I think there's, I wouldn't say there's new ones every day, but there's new guys watching every day, I'd like to think. And there will be more and machinima directors coming into play. Will they be connected to one another? I don't know. But the point is that if we were all to just stop, this community would cease to exist. And we are people that keep it going, and it's, look, you don't have to be friends with everyone, all right? If you want to avoid this person, good luck. But just have a mutual and understanding of respect for one another's work. I don't care if you like it or not. Respect it because it's a Halo machinima. Respect it because your art in which you work in was slowly dying for a while. And I think we're at a plateau now, and I think we are getting better. I think we are getting off that plateau, off that line, and I think we're shooting back up. So think of it like that, is look at it like that. If we were able to just stop, it would cease to function. And I think you're spot on, Alex. I think that's what's up, and I think that's the perfect way to end this. Thank you everyone for listening to the TheZeddUnderstanding podcast. Quick note: Alex's channel will be in the description below on YouTube, and I should add a comment in for the SoundCloud. Speaking of SoundCloud, downloadable version of this podcast is available on SoundCloud. I was going to try to get on iTunes, but long story. I guess they don't have a free option anymore for unprofit stuff on there now, or I'm just fucking stupid. But point is, download on SoundCloud. Download it to your mobile device. If you don't, if you got to go to fucking bed, you got to do your homework, you want to wake up, you got some dumb class at school, you got, early release, whatever, and you got to walk home, whatever. Put on your fucking mobile device. Put this on. If you want to listen to some cool fucking people talk about something or a subject or hobby, whatever you want to call it, that you really fucking love, please download the podcast and put it up on your iPod or mobile device and listen to it while you're on the road. This is the visual version up on YouTube. Alex's channel, like I said, will be in the description. And Alex, thank you so much for being on this podcast. And is there anything ending this podcast that you wanna say?
Real quick, this is something I'm gonna say to a lot of people. It's not my channel. It's RandomTreeProductions channel. That's why I like to call it.
That's what's up. That's better. Thank you for correcting me.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck me. It's not Alex's channel. Fuck Alex. Fuck Alex. All right. He's a fucking douche. He's a fucking douchebag. Seriously, RandomTreeProductions, fucking great place. Alex just happens to run most shit, but the people that are a part of this production group are some cool motherfuckers. I met one of your guys. I forget who I met. He has the same picture of you, but it's like gray.
Yep, Blood Wolf. That's Bryce.
Bryce.
He's the
cool
CFO,
dude.
so if I die tomorrow, he'll take charge of everything.
God damn it! I was hoping, like, you would, like, text me, like, before you die, like, you're in your coffin, you go, Zed, I need to tell you something, and I text you back, I'm like, what? And you go, I just want you to know, I'm gonna die, but I need you to deal with Revenge of the Spartans, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do that. When I say deal, I need you to tell Shannon, broadcast machinima, that he can finish it. And I'm like, fuck you. Hang up. No, but Shannon would be a great candidate if you just suddenly died one day. But please don't die on me. Please don't die on me.
I don't plan on dying.
Everyone, thank you for listening to the podcast. I don't know what podcast this is. I've been recording a lot lately, so I don't know if they're going to come in order, but this is actually a pretty good one. This might just be the second podcast. So, thank you everyone for joining us on this journey. And that was so fucking corny. Why the fuck did I just say that? Just get out. Leave. Just go.
Thank you for having me on the show, bro.
Yeah, no problem. You're a cool motherfucker. You're a cool dude. And we'll probably talk after this about boobs and ass and.
Please don't tell him my nickname.
What's your nickname?
I'll just say Chronic and then figure out what the initials MB are for.
Chronic disease. All right.
Close enough.
Close enough. Thank you everyone for listening. This is the podcast. Everyone have a good night.
Goodbye.